I'm Sergeant 12XU, and today we're headed to the Coyote Flats area of Northern California, located on the eastern side of the Sierra Nevada range. Our goal was to explore Mono Lake first, then make our way down to Funnel Lake the next day. For this trip, my right-hand man Nathan joined me as my door gunner. First night, Todd guided us over Highway 108 and down to Highway 395 toward Mono Lake. Just north of Mono Lake, we took a westbound forest road up the hill to our first night's campsite. We stopped for this pic, which shows you just how amazing the sky was. Set up camp and cooked some dinner. Todd went into full-on chef mode and topped it off with an ice cold keg of beer. The next morning, we set out for Mono Lake to explore. The Clint Eastwood film High Plains Drifter was filmed on the shores of Mono Lake in 1973, and the area remains virtually unchanged in appearance since then. From Mono Lake, we headed south on Highway 395 to the town of Bishop. The plan was to link up with a NorCal convoy and a SoCal convoy. Once all rigs were assembled in a group, we would form up in a large convoy and head out to Funnel Lake. We met up with the convoy from SoCal at a brewery in Bishop for lunch and last-minute supply gatherings. After that, we made our way to the trailhead and we aired down our rig. Todd had visited these areas before, none of us had ever been, so he ran point for our convoy. He knew which roads to take and where to turn off. The snow melt was creating a few water crossings and some muddy stretches of road. Four-wheel drive was needed in some spots and a rear locker in others. After I cut this down tree with my chainsaw, Todd grabbed his Jeep, hooked up a strap, and yanked it out of the way. We ran into an issue where the road to Funnel Lake was buried in snow, so we had to climb a short but steep hill as a little detour. One by one, the caravan made it up and over the hill, but I had to winch 2 vehicles up the hill using my Jeep. The mosquitoes were plentiful and relentless. We all made it to Funnel Lake and set up camp for the night. The weather was chilly, but the fire was warm. With good meals had by all and cold beer flowing, our little troop of misfits settled in around the fire and got to know each other. Good times were had by all. What if I told you Todd wanted to snowboard down a rock-infested icy slope adjacent to Funnel Lake? What if I told you he actually did it? Check this out. Considering we were many hours for medical treatment, a lot of us were a little nervous as he bombed it with no fear. Hats off to you, Todd. The next morning we made some breakfast before setting out to explore the area. Some folks stayed behind at camp while others took off for the unknown. It wasn't long before we hit a water crossing. Todd went first while I filmed. We made our way through the beautiful Coyote Flats themselves. With the snow-covered peaks and green grass plateau, the area reminded me of something out of the Swiss Alps. This little spot is a cool campsite that can fit multiple rigs. This campsite is next to a flowing river containing small trout. The mosquitoes were rampant, and bug spray was a must at this time of year. Todd broke out his fly fishing rig and decided to see if the little trout were interested. In the end, he left empty-handed despite a few bites. After a day of exploring, we made our way back to camp at Funnel Lake. We built up the fire and essentially repeated the same routine from the previous night. This time, we broke out the ribeye steaks and got a little bit more festive with the drinks. While most of us were laughing around the campfire, Ty set up his DSLR on a tripod in the distance and started to take some long exposure shots of the night sky. After night 3 of this adventure, it was time to head home, back to the grind. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed something along the way. Special thanks to Ofer for planning and organizing this trip. Special thanks to Todd for inviting me. It was great to meet everybody. Until next time, I'll see you on the trail.